Have you ever made a decision to make a change in your life? Start a gym routine, give up junk food, give up smoking. For a few weeks things go wonderfully well, and then one day before you know it, the craving overpowers you and you're back to your old habits. Does that sound familiar? And more crucially, do you want to know the secrets to making habits stick? Hi, my name is Dr. Aziz. I'm a psychology graduate of Cambridge University and also a medical doctor. In this video I'll be covering the New York Times best-selling book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. It's a fascinating read in just over 400 pages, but don't worry, you don't have to read it because I've done the hard work for you and will be presenting all the key points in the next 7 minutes. We'll be looking at how anticipation and reward lies at the root of habit formation, what resisting marshmallows can tell us about our habits and the direction our lives are likely to go in, and key principles that you can implement in your lives to make good habits stick and get rid of bad ones forever. In the 1990s, a group of scientists at MIT studied the brain activities of mice who were put into a maze to find chocolate. In the beginning, as the mice smelt chocolate, their brain activity spiked, but with each repetition and as the mice gradually learned where the chocolate was, the brain activity gradually decreased. In neuroscience, this is called chunking and forms the basis of all habit formation. Tasks which were challenging and complicated at first become routine and habitual, and the brain conserves energy whilst becoming more efficient. According to a 2006 study at Duke University, as much as 40% of our daily actions are habitual. Habits, once formed, are extremely resilient, and even patients with significant brain damage can still go through old habits. This resilient, unfortunately, applies to good and bad habits, and hence why many return to bad habits. Any habit can be broken down into three parts. An external cue, for example the alarm clock ringing first thing in the morning. This results in a spike in brain activity as the brain very quickly decides which habit is appropriate for the situation. Number 2, the routine, marching into the bathroom and brushing your teeth. Number 3, the reward, a minty fresh breath and tingling sensation in your mouth. Your overall brain activity spikes again as it registers the successful completion of an activity, and the link between cue and routine is reinforced. Cue, routine, reward. A study at New York State University demonstrated that those people who exercise regularly crave something from the exercise, be it an endorphin rush in the brain, a sense of accomplishment, or a treat that they allow themselves afterwards. Cues and rewards are not enough. The craving is what solidifies the habit. It's no surprise that this reward aspect has been capitalized on by manufacturers. Where once bland toothpaste was seldom used, an ingenious man called Claude Hopkins presented Pepsodent toothpaste, providing a cool tingling sensation that we've now all become accustomed to. This sensation not only consolidated in consumers' minds that the product worked, but also became a tangible reward that they began to crave. When trying to kick or abstain from a bad habit, it is more effective to try and redirect as opposed to resist the habit. In other words, you keep the same cues and rewards but change the routine that occurs as a result of the craving. For example, replacing smoking with an alternate reward such as push-ups or chewing a Nicorette is more effective than point-blank trying to resist the urge. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, have used these principles to help millions obtain sobriety. They found that relaxation and companionship were actually what the individuals were craving via alcohol, rather than the intoxication itself, and hence the sponsor system, the idea being to replace alcohol or whichever bad habit with something less harmful. Sometimes stressful situations can tempt a relapse, however. In this situation, the evidence has shown that it's actually a belief in God and spirituality that helps individuals stay strong and resist. Having strong faith also helps participants believe in change for themselves and hence stronger in the face of adversity. Some habits are known as Keystone Habits. These are more important than others because adhering to them creates positive knock-on effects on other areas of our lives. For example, as doctors, it is very difficult for us to get obese people to make wholesale changes in their lifestyles. But when focusing on one keystone habit, such as keeping a meticulous food journal, other positive habits results as offshoots. Keystone habits work by providing small but easily obtainable wins. This effectively gets the ball moving and a belief grows that change is in fact possible. In a famous study at Stanford University in 1972, a group of 4-year-olds were offered one marshmallow either now or wait a few minutes and they would receive 2 marshmallows. 70% of the children had one marshmallow instantly. Only 30% managed to demonstrate delayed gratification. The interesting part is this: when tracked down years later as adults, those who had shown willpower as children had ended up with the best grades in school, were more popular amongst peers and less likely to have drug addictions. Willpower can wane, however. Some days you're bouncing to the gym, other days you don't want to get up at all. The reason for this is that willpower is like a muscle and can fatigue. Stress in particular can lower one's willpower. Being ordered to do something as opposed to from one's own free will can also adversely affect willpower. But here's the key point: when you feel your motivation or willpower is low, by engaging in the right decision, e.g. resisting that junk food or dragging yourself to the gym, you actually strengthen your willpower. Charles Duhigg, the author, calls this a willpower workout. Strengthen this and you strengthen your habits and in turn everything else in your life. New habits or products are much more likely to be accepted if they don't actually seem new. Marketing departments know and take advantage of this. For example, radio stations often ensure a new song becomes popular by ensuring that it is sandwiched between two existing hit songs. We can implement this principle in our lives by attaching a new habit to existing good habits. In 2008, one night, a man called Brian Thomas strangled his wife to death. Devastated, he turned himself in and was prosecuted for murder. His defense was that he was suffering from something called sleep terrors. Research has shown that during sleep terrors, the brain effectively shuts down, leaving only the most primitive neurological regions active. Thomas had actually thought he was strangling a burglar in this primitive state. His defense argued that the moment Thomas thought someone was hurting his wife, it triggered an automatic response, an attempt to protect her, i.e. he followed a habit. At around the same time, a lady called Angie Bachman was being sued by a casino company for $500,000 of outstanding gambling debts. Her argument in court was that gambling felt good and she, like Brian Thomas, was merely following habit. Brian Thomas was acquitted whilst Angie Bachman was found guilty. But why, if both of them were merely following habits? Quite simply, when we become cognizant of our harmful habit, it then becomes our responsibility to address and change it. Like anything else in your life, including this book, everyone can show you the door, only you can walk through it. In summary, habits form a key part of all of our lives. All habits consist of a cue, routine, reward loop. The easiest way to change this is to substitute something else for the routine whilst keeping the cue and reward the same. Lifelong change is difficult to obtain, but with willpower and focus on Keystone Habits, step by step, everyone can change. Anyway, I hope you learned something useful and enjoyed this summary. If you want to keep learning about psychology and medicine, hit the like, subscribe and notifications button. Any suggestion or comments, feel free to post below. Until next time, stay safe.